up to heaven. The other arm of Jesus looks like a fence to me. No, forget it. You can't. Who? These people. These ones are the eagles, and they're going down to the hell. This is the only little landmark that he painted in the panel. So down, up, hell, heaven, damnation, salvation. Okay, these people, those around Jesus, are the very, very good ones. Saints and martyrs. Okay. So some of them was provided with the instrument used for torturing. Somebody asked me about the guy who was barbecued alive, and this is him, Lawrence, holding his grill. It looks like a ladder stair, but it is not. He was the one we saw in St. John's, at Bartholomew, one of the disciples, at the knife and the empty skin. This was Catherine from Alexandria, who was stretched to death on this kind of a torture wheel with hooks. It was Sebastian, who was shot by his colleague. He was a soldier, so he was shot with arrows by his colleagues. So some of them was depicted here. And then those used for Jesus, the column, when Jesus was chained and it was lashed, the crown made of branches with thorns put on his head, the dice tossed by the Roman centurions to share his garment, and finally the cross when he was crucified. Now, when you look at the women painted by Michelangelo, you do wonder a little. Look at the biceps. For a long time, the scholars say, well, he got used to chisel, so when he was painting, he was using those paints and brushes like a chisel and hammer. But actually, it's not true. What might be the truth? Possibly the matter that he was homosexual. But back then, you could not release, you could not come out like we can do today. So this is why he painted his face on the dead skin of Bartholomew. If you try to match this face and this face, you can't. There are two different faces. So whom the hell is this portrait? The one of Michelangelo. This is why he had this inner turmoil. Different reasons, but possibly the one of being homosexual really affected his life. Back then, I told you, cannot coming out. So, and actually was sentenced to the death for that. So, okay, so he had to keep all of this inside his soul. I read this book because I was intrigued by the stuff, and this guy was writing, figured out something interesting. Two guys kissing on the lips, two guys kissing on the lips, two guys kissing on the lips. And he put them among the good ones, not the bad ones. Then, despite his inner turmoil, he was super prolific as an artist. So, painting, sculpting, making buildings, making fortresses. Mid-50s, he begins to feel depressed. Come on, guys, depression is a modern disease. You cannot feel depressed in 15 hours. You have to work to put lunch and dinner together. By this time, he meets a young fellow. His name is Tommaso, a man, 25 years old. They found the letters they wrote to each other. In one of these letters, Michelangelo writes Tommaso back, thank you, Tommaso, because you took me back to life. And right after the dates of these letters, he was as a volcano. He was, again, producing, making things. Last but not least, let's say that when they were investigating inside the archives before they restored, they found many of the invoices that he issued to the models that he used for this. And all of them were boys. He put some girlish looks on their faces and he made them into girls. But that is it. So this is why the big biceps like bodybuilders. Okay. Before he finished, this guy, he was a very high rank in the clergy, and he was such a corrupted guy, he died. And so he took his revenge on him, and he fit him in the hell, performing like Minos. But he did not feel satisfied to paint him so ugly looking, long ears like a donkey. Oh no, look what the snake is doing in the park, which for us gentlemen is so much important. That's quite a painful bite to his will and his standards. So probably, this is what I heard, and I read that later, he had abused children, and Michelangelo felt so much shocked by this, that he fit him in hell, and the snake is biting his sex. Then he put the scaffoldings down and raised a scandal. The Pope stepped inside and said, what did you dare to do? Say, what did I do? All of these people are naked. And he says, so what, Pope? When God made us, we're looking the same, because there are no discriminations among us. When we will die, we will be looking the same. So the Pope could not reply Michelangelo. He had to shut up. When Michelangelo died 20 years later, even later, 22 years later, another Pope called one of the assistants of Michelangelo, and he ordered him to cover those genitals. So, when you see this black cloth, they were added by the assistant of Michelangelo. Even the green and the purple cloth. Before, this guy was watching to her. So the head was flipped backward, and they were totally dressed. Can you imagine a saint and a she saint and a he saint in that position? Okay, any question?